Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about micro assets. Now this is the term that I made up because when I think assets, I think of these giant expensive things that most people can't afford, and these micro assets I think a lot of people can do, and it will help you generate wealth online. Now I wish a lot of people told me about this before. I wish they taught this in school, but I'm going to teach you what I know about this, and I think this can help generate wealth even if you want to do something really small, if you want some kind of side hustle, or you want to do this as I do as a content creator. I think these micro assets can help you build that wealth over time. Now in this video I'm going to talk about 4 micro assets that you can do, and I'm going to show you how to find more assets and what to look for in micro assets. But before we do that, I want to talk about what assets are so we're on the same page. So for me, assets are basically anything that can be utilized to create value, or money in this case. And this is the definition I found online: a resource with economic value that an individual, corporation, or country owns or controls with the expectation that it will provide a future benefit. In this case, that benefit is usually money. All right, so now that we know what assets are, why would we want to have assets? Well, basically, we want assets to do the work for us because we only have a limited amount of time and we can only do so much as an individual. Think about this as sprinklers in a garden or watering your lawn, right? You could go out there and water the lawn by hand, but if you use the sprinklers and put them in different places, the sprinklers are actually watering the lawn for you. You made an investment in the sprinklers, your asset, and that's actually doing the work for you. And now you have more time to do other things. So that's how I think of assets, is that it's something that you can use to actually do the work for you. Here's some quotes to kind of help drive this point home. So first, there's this quote from Robert Kiyosaki: "It's not about income, it's about assets that generate income." I think in his case, he's talking about real estate, but there can be lots of other assets that actually drive income or create income. And another quote that I really like is from Warren Buffett, and he says, "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. And one way to make money while you're sleeping is to have assets that are working for you." So another reason why assets are really powerful, whether it's micro assets or regular assets, is because you can stack assets on top of each other. So if one asset is bringing you, for example, $5 a month or $80 a month, you can do another one that does that and another one that does that. And you can see over time, it will exponentially grow and will help. Whether you're doing a 9 to 5 or doing this full time, it just grows and grows and grows. So I'm going to show you how this can really help, especially now with some inflation going on, some really high inflation costs going on, how assets can actually help you with your 9 to 5 wage. All right, so here's a very simple graph, money and time. This is basically our wages as a 9 to 5, at least for me. My wages didn't go up very much year over year. It's pretty steady, but it's, not exactly flat, but just a little bit. Now, the cost of living with inflation actually isn't flat. It's going up and up at a faster rate than our wages, which is why we're feeling tighter and tighter each time as the cost of living is creeping up on our wages. Whether your wages is up here or down here, it's cost of living is going higher than wages. Now, this is why we need assets. Now, here is your income with multiple assets, and you can see it's actually going faster than inflation. And here's why. Remember the stacking method that I talked about is we're stacking different assets. Now, it doesn't have to be 2 and 3 and 4, but imagine year after year, month after month, we're stacking on assets more and more so that our income becomes more and more over time. Now, this is our wages plus the assets and the cost of living. You can see it goes up a lot faster, and this is what I did with a 9 to 5 plus assets, is the cost of living didn't matter anymore. We're getting more money faster than the cost of living. So hopefully those graphs and all the quotes and everything that I explained earlier help you know that assets are really important and can help you grow your income and can help you with inflation as well. So now that we know that we want assets, we have to find the right ones. Now, not all assets are the same. Like I said before, some assets are really expensive and some things that you can and can't do. But these are 3 types of things, 3 questions that I think you should ask yourself when looking for assets. Now, here they are. First, do people want it? Is it something that a lot of people want? Does it have value? You got to do the research. See if it solves a problem. Is there something similar that's already out there making money? And how is yours going to be different than that? So those are some of the questions I would ask for this question. So the second question is it scalable? Now, if you have something that's handmade by you that only you can make, that's one of a kind, that's not scalable, right? That is an asset, but if you have to take time to do it one by one, if you get 10,000 orders, how are you going to fulfill that, right? So it needs to be scalable. So having an asset that is scalable is huge and can help you, especially for micro assets. This is one that you really want to make sure that it's scalable, because if somebody just buys one thing, that's great, but can you sell 10,000 of these? Can you sell over 1 million of these? And it doesn't hurt you that much. So there's two ways that I think that it can be scalable. So the first way to be scalable is to think of it as build once and sell many of it. So here's some examples of it. You can make a song, and that's what just make one song and people buy multiple copies of the song. A movie is the same way. Courses, digital downloads, there's tons of things that you can just build once and then multiple people have access to it and buy it. So that's one way for it to be scalable. So the second way to be scalable is to have a way to scale the product, to make multiple versions of it. So in the case of Mr. Beast and chocolate, he's chosen chocolate and he has a process to make multiple ones of it. He won't run out. He knows that he can make millions and hundreds of millions of those chocolates and sell those, right? So think of ways, is it easily scalable? Is it something that you can replicate over and over and over? Do you have a process for that? So those are two ways for it to be scalable, and I believe this is a big thing for micro assets too. So think about those. Is it scalable? Is it something that you can make thousands or get thousands of orders of and handle that? Now, the last question you got to ask yourself about getting assets is, can you drive traffic to it? Now, this is super important because if nobody sees it, nobody's going to buy it. So you have to have either a following or a way to market it to it so that people, when they find this thing that you can replicate 1,000, 10,000 times, they will actually want to buy it. Okay, so now let's talk about the 4 micro assets that I wanted to talk about in this video, and hopefully we're going to show you that it matches these 3 questions that I did. Now, there's a lot more that I said. There's lots more assets out there. Now, when people think assets, we probably think of, at least I used to, in Monopoly, right? You go around and you buy assets, you buy houses and real estate. There's also other assets that people think of as stocks and investments and things like that. Now, when I look into those, and those are great, by the way, but usually you have to have a lot of money to invest in those. These 4 micro assets don't cost as much, and sometimes the only cost is your time. So let's get into it, what the 4 micro assets are, and I'm going to show you how they line up to these 3 questions as well. So the first micro asset is print-on-demand products. Now, print-on-demand products, the upside of this is it doesn't cost you anything, especially if you're going with Amazon, Redbubble, or TeePublic. It just costs your time, especially if you already have some of those things to create your graphics with. Now, Canva is free, and hopefully you have the internet. If you're watching this, you have access to a phone and things like that. So a lot of these things you already have, and you just have to use your skills and create designs and upload these things for free and build assets. When I'm talking about assets, I mean build these different products that you want to sell, t-shirt designs, it can be mugs, it can be whatever you want. Each one of these can bring in a certain amount of money. Now, not every one of these are going to sell, so it may take a little while to figure out which ones are going to sell or be able to upload those. But each one of these little assets can add on top of each other, and as you saw with the graph. But over time, you have so many micro assets that will bring you more and more money year after year after year, like that graph was showing. Now let's put the print on demand to these 3 questions. All right, so print-on-demand products, do people want it? Well, yeah, that's the thing. You have to do the research and create things that people actually want to buy. But there's lots of people who buy t-shirts and mugs and other things online that are done by print-on-demand. So yes, there is a value, there is a want there. Is it scalable? Now, if you're working with a print-on-demand provider, yes, they can print as many as you want. You don't have to have an inventory. You can scale this thing to the moon, right? They can make as many things as you need. So scalable, yes. Can you drive traffic to it? Now, this is why I like to do print-on-demand sites like Amazon and Redbubble and TeePublic, because they already drive the traffic to it. You don't have to worry about the traffic. Now, if you're doing something on your own site, you may have to drive traffic to it, and you have to learn that. But I would suggest with print-on-demand, if you're just starting out, to do something that already has traffic to it. So the next micro assets that I think you should do is digital downloads. Now, digital downloads is similar to print on demand. The only difference is you're not putting it on products. This is a download that people can do digitally. So you take out that products part. The downside, or the thing that you have to do the research on, of course, is to find out what people want to download. Same kind of deal, but there's lots and lots of things out there. There's so many videos out there on how to find those things. Lots of digital downloads on Etsy. Again, Etsy has the traffic. And usually you have the access to these things too. You can build digital downloads with Canva for free. And one of the things, just like print on demand, is not every one of these things are going to sell. But if you're doing your research, you can definitely up the chances that you will get a sale for these. Just find out what people actually want to buy. So let's go to the 3 questions again on this one and see how this works. All right, digital downloads. Do people want it? Yes, people love digital downloads because it's really quick and you can do research on finding out which digital downloads people want. Is it scalable? Yes, this is the one that I talked about where you build it once, and once you have it, more and more people buy it. It's just a digital download, so hundreds of people can buy it, thousands of people can buy it, and so on. This is kind of like the song idea where you build one song and more people buy it, right? Like a course and things like that. Can you drive traffic to it? Well, unfortunately, you can't do digital downloads on Amazon, TeePublic, and Redbubble, but Etsy allows you to digital downloads, and Shopify will let you do digital downloads. That's what I do mine. And if you can build enough following, build a audience for it, you can actually have digital downloads there as well as YouTube. You can do your Shopify through YouTube to sell your digital downloads, is something that I do as well. So the third micro asset that I want to talk about is videos. So when we think about videos, you probably think about YouTube, and it takes a little while to get monetized on YouTube, but when you do, as you stack those videos on top of each other, they become more and more valuable. Let's say one video makes you a certain amount of money, maybe $5 a day or something like that. When you stack another one, that's $10 a day, and another one and $15, and so on. So over time, as you do more and more videos, this micro asset actually pays for itself and goes up and up and up and up. Now, the downside to this is it may take you a lot of videos before you get monetized, but the upside is if you have a phone that has a camera, you have everything you need to start making videos right now and uploading it to YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and so many more others, right? So you can build this asset pretty quickly and learn as you go to do this. So let me do the 3 questions again for video and show you that it actually works as well. So let's do this for videos. Do people want it? You'll have to do the research to find out what kinds of videos people want. And then you can start making more and more videos. This might take a little time to find out, but we have all the tools in YouTube and other places to find out if you're getting likes and if you're getting subscribers and things like that. Is it scalable? Yes. You make one video and millions of people can watch it, right? And you can do this over and over again. Can you drive traffic to it? Well, if you put it on platforms like YouTube and other places, it actually has the traffic. If you put the right keywords and doing the right videos, traffic will come to it. So this is a great asset that follows these 3 questions. So the last micro asset that I want to talk about, and you may not think of it as an asset, but it is content, just content. It can be videos, but it can also be posts on Twitter, it can be posts on Instagram, it can be posts anywhere, it can be a blog post. And these don't necessarily give you money, but it can bring you more and more followers, which in turn can get you more eyes on some of the other 3 things that we talked about, and can build up and up and up. So as you grow your audience, as you grow your followers, this will actually help you with the other 3 micro assets. So again, the value, we're talking about assets that bring value. The value for this is growing an audience, not necessarily money, but it does help in growing in income over time as you do the other 3 as well. So let's go over this one really quickly for these 3 questions, just to make sure that it covers that. All right, content. Do people want it? Yes, people are wanting good, valuable content. Now, when I talk about content, you can't just post a picture of your t-shirt. That's not content. You have to give value in your content. Is it scalable? Yes, you can make as many pieces of content, and more people can watch your content or look at your content or read your content. It doesn't matter. You just make it once and millions of people can see it, right? Can you drive traffic to it? Yes, if you're posting on Instagram and you're posting on Twitter and all the other social media sites, the traffic actually comes if you're posting the right kind of content that has value. All right, so there you go. Those are the 4 micro assets that I think most people can do to generate more income, whether you have a 9 to 5 or if you want to be a content creator full-time. These can help over time. Now, they're going to start off small, but as you saw in the graph, they're going to stack on top of each other, and it may take months, it may take years, but over time, as you keep adding more and more, this is the power of micro assets. They're really cheap to do. It really just takes your time, and anyone can do it, but over time, this is the power of it, is that over time, by stacking more hundreds and thousands and this, you're going to get more and more income over time. So hopefully this is really helpful for you. Now, again, there's more micro assets out there that you can do. Let me know in the comments if you can think of another one that I didn't mention, but look for those 3 questions. When you find one, ask yourself those 3 questions and make sure that it does those 3. That it's something that people want, that it's scalable, and it's that you can drive traffic to it. If you have those 3, I think that is a winner, and you can do those things and put more time to it to generate more income. Now, hopefully this was really helpful for you. If you want to learn more about my time on using micro assets, I made this video right here on how I made 10K a month, and most of it is from this micro assets thing. So you can see it in practice and see how I actually generated income with these same micro assets. Thanks again for watching, and as always, guys, keep creating and keep learning. I'll see you on the next one.